Hello everyone. Welcome to LCB Fertilizers podcast show. So this is our first episode and I'm really excited to share it with you guys. कि आज हमारे साथ है Miss Arya Kapoor and we are really happy to have you over here, ma'am. So I want you to give your introduction to our audience, our viewers, so that they can get connect with you and get little bit idea about you. So yeah.
Sure. So, hi everyone. Great to be here. Great to be on this show. Also, this is my first podcast itself. So, if there's any kind of mistakes that happen, please forgive that. About myself, I'm actually more of into branding and marketing space. I work as a marketing strategist and manager, more like a solopreneur. So I basically take on people who either want to build a personal brand or who are into the branding space in general, like they just want to market themselves. But the reason I came on this podcast is because my entire family, like me and my entire family, all of us are huge into planting. We just absolutely love gardening. We love a lot of greenery. If we ever talk about just plants, it's like everybody just kind of flows into the conversation, and everybody has so many things to offer when it comes to planting, when it comes to trees, environment, all of that. We're just really nature loving people. So when I got an invite on whether I can be on the show or not, I just thought, I mean, I have 200 plants on my terrace, so I would just rather take the opportunity and be here.
Yeah. That's really great to hear from you, ma'am. It's really interesting to know. So, I would like to know about your personal journey. Like, how did you start kitchen gardening? And can you share your initial experiences and also the challenges when you were facing the moment you start doing kitchen gardening?
Sure. So actually, okay. I mean, let me just tell everybody, I'm 23, so it's not like I'm the one who will be like, oh, I'm a girl, I can't tell my age. I'm not like that. So
Yeah.
actually, the entire gardening thing, I think it came from my parents, both my mom and dad, especially my mom. She is huge, huge, huge into planting. She just loves having a
Mm-hmm.
garden and everything. And I think that is one area where my mom and dad, they just really come together, because it's I mean, normally how it happens, dad would be like, okay, it's okay, you can spend the money, and the moms would just go and spend a lot of money into buying plants. So sometimes it happens that, I mean, generally in India, you know how it happens, like males are like, oh my god, you're spending so much money on plants, you want this place to look like a forest or what. But it was never
Yeah.
like that in our case. So I remember the the latest memory that I have is probably from 4 or 5 years old. Since then, I have
Mm-hmm.
seen my mom having a very huge garden. At that time, we were more into just flowers. I remember we had this house. I was living in Odisha back then, so we had this house and it had a very giant area in front. So my mom would have a lot of pots there, and all different colors of roses, all different colors of
Mm-hmm.
sunflowers, marigolds, all of that stuff. And we really loved that thing. So from there, just because we grew up in that environment, both me and my brother, we were always very connected to plants itself. We were very connected with nature, taking care of it, and it was like a duty that, yeah, I mean, they are also living beings. You have to water them, you
Mm-hmm.
have to give them the food and everything, and the care that you get as humans. So I think that thing was instilled in us by our parents only. And they were like, these are our babies, just like you are our babies, these are
Mm-hmm.
also our babies, so they also need the same care. um,
Mm-hmm.
from there, it's like at that time, of course, we were not very much aware of how what kind of organic things we should grow, or how much fertilizer we should do or not. So that was majorly taken care by parents. But we were very much
Mm-hmm.
into just waking up every day, watering the plants, and then maybe somewhere around the evening again watching them. We were tiny tiny hands, tiny tiny pots, all of that. Then from there, when I moved back to Delhi again, everywhere we have always had a terrace garden. Like that was the major
Mm-hmm.
reason my mom always took the top floor so that we can have the terrace garden. And on the
Mm-hmm.
terrace, it's always been entirely plants and plants. And I mean, I think I can say we also got lucky in terms of the neighbors that we have had in all of these years. Everybody has always supported this thing. I mean, how it happens, especially in Delhi, is when you're living in an apartment, so people are like, ah, the terrace is all to me, and people just get
Yeah.
problematic. But in our case, everybody just loved the fact that we are so much into gardening. And when you just want to go to terrace evening mein, and you just want to have some tea, coffee, anything, or especially in winters, it just feels really nice when you have a lot of plants and you're just
Mm-hmm.
still in a city, but you can get that tiny touch of village. That is what really matters. And I think people who live in urban cities, they really
Mm-hmm.
crave that thing. They really crave the village life where, things are clean. And I mean,
Yeah.
it is, Delhi's air quality is known to the entire world. We have literally one of the worst air qualities. So we are,
Yeah,
of
I
course,
totally
trying
agree on
every
that.
day
Yeah.
to
Mm-hmm.
just
Mm-hmm.
grow plants, just have some greenery around us, not only from the purpose that, okay, it will, help purify the air or something, but it is also, I mean, good. If I talk from the Hindus' perspective, you know how
Yeah.
Hindu people, they believe in Vastu. So that is also a thing, that the more plants you have, and you can have, like, this or that plant for this or that good reason. Like having a jade plants means bringing good luck. So all of these plants, they carry different significance. So from a lot of perspective, I think we were always fueled in to just have more and more plants, and it grew to that point where now it's like me, my mom, my brother, anybody who ever goes out, our first, like, side just goes on to plants anywhere it is, and we will just like bring a lot of them, and we won't even get scolded. Like generally, if we go and do shopping for other things, we might get scolded, but
Yeah.
if we
Mm-hmm.
bring plants, my mom is like, it's okay, we'll just put them. And about my
Mm-hmm.
kitchen garden, I think we started kitchen gardening probably 10 years back itself. I was still in school at that time. So that time I remember my mom was majorly growing, those tiny, tiny things we need in our kitchen, like green chili, or we
Mm-hmm.
need dhania, pudina, then
Mm-hmm.
curry leaves. That's a major thing we grow. Then you have, like, let's say, tomato, brinjal, okra, all of these. I do remember having them, but when like the place that I'm living right now, um, half of my terrace is basically kitchen garden. The other half is like we have other plants that we just keep for aesthetic purposes. We, like, the areca palms and everything, because they are like lot of foliage, so you love that. But half of it is majorly just kitchen garden. We grow, at this point, what we are growing is lemons, 3 to 4 different types of lemon, and I'm very lucky that we also got one major big produce of lemons that my mom even made pickles out of it. It was like at least this much amount, tiny, tiny lemons. Then we
Yeah.
have green chili, again, curry leaf, tomato, brinjal,
Mm-hmm.
okras. Now my mom is also into growing. What is this? Like all of the curcubit plants. You have cucumber, you have what is that? Pumpkin. You have loki, karela, all of this. And because my mom is from Orissa, so it is not just the fruit that we are consuming, because those people, they consume each and every part of the plant. She also grows a
Mm-hmm.
lot of sag, different types of sag. And it's like, let's say, because it's obvious that, pumpkin, it especially
Mm-hmm.
needs a lot of space to grow. All of these heavy
Mm-hmm.
vegetables or heavy fruits like
Mm-hmm.
pumpkin or watermelon, these are the things that grow on land, which means they need even more space to just spread out. And because it is obvious that on terrace we don't have like that much of space that we can provide to these plants, so we do
Mm-hmm.
have like a lot of foliage there. We have a lot of leaves,
Mm-hmm.
and my mom loves to make pakodes out of those leaves. So we do get
Mm-hmm.
to eat like a lot of things out of that plant apart from just the fruit.
That's really nice to hear. Like such a great experience. And also one thing which I have also personally experienced for like keeping plants in your house, your surrounding you. The thing is your atmosphere becomes like more of a very positive vibe. I literally
True,
believe in
true.
that. Like plants make more vibrant and positive, like
That's
bring
absolutely
positivity
true.
to your house and yourself. And that's one of the things. So also I would like to know like what was the most rewarding thing you experienced through your kitchen gardening?
I think the most rewarding thing is, okay, I have like two, three different cute, cute stories about this one. One
Okay.
thing is, I am somebody who just needs to drink something throughout the day. I just feel like,
Mhm.
drinking something will just make me feel motivated to just keep on working. And I also don't want to just have coffee. I love coffee, but at the same time, I know that it's not really good for your health. Like 1 to 2
Mhm.
cup is okay, but more than that, it's not good. So I don't want to just, like go to the kitchen every time and then just see coffee and make it. So it's obvious that, I mean, I generally like lean more towards having different types of herbal teas, or just, making something like mojito or anything. I'm really a lot into like making a lot of drinks, non-alcoholic, obviously. So especially it, and I'm a very big moody person. It really depends on the weather. It depends on, how my day is going. So it would really influence the kind of drink that I'm having. So if it's summers, especially, I mean, being Indians, we love lemonades. but I do
Yeah.
love to like make like a mojito out of it. So it's like just because I have this luxury that we grow a lot of mint leaves in our house, I can just like pluck like the fresh mint leaves and just put it in my mojito,
Mm-hmm.
crush it, and just make like a nice mojito out of it. That is one thing.
Yeah.
Dhania. I used to be the one who could just not stand dhania, and a lot of my friends would say, "Are you even Indian? Like, is that possible if you don't eat dhania?" And I'm like, "I just don't, bro. It's just not possible for me. I used to hate it, and
Yeah.
especially like in the past 5 to 6 years, what I've seen is the way people
Mm-hmm.
create fusion foods, and we have like a lot of Indo-Chinese here. When
Mm-hmm.
I was back in college, me and my best friend,
Mm-hmm.
we used to just go to this really nice place. They used to serve chili potato. It was our favorite hangout place. Even on that chili potato, they would add dhania. And I was so furious about it. I was like, it's Indo-Chinese. Don't put dhania on
Yeah.
it. Come on. Like, yeah, if it's Punjabi, because I'm a Punjabi, I understand. You can
Yeah.
put dhania on it, but not now. But slowly, because like my family also, they're not much into like liking this certain herb, but then I just
Mm-hmm.
try to bring myself out of that, what you call prejudice, that okay, dhania is not a good thing, I just don't like it. I try to bring myself out of that, and
Mm-hmm.
slowly, because we grow it in our place, so I do like started eating it. Another,
Mm-hmm.
I would say, rewarding thing is I love cooking. I'm huge into cooking. I just love it when like I can make food and people can try it and they can be happy. So I do cook for my family a lot of time. And I love making dishes from different parts of the world. So it is not just limited to like Punjabi food or something. I love trying out Chinese, Korean, Japanese, like continental food, anything American, Middle East. I try like food from everywhere. So it is always that you need
Mm-hmm.
different type of herbs and stuff. Whatever is available at the market, we do get that. But especially when it comes to like let's say Chinese food or Korean food, they have a lot of spring onions and
Yeah.
chives in their like dishes, especially like spring onion is used a lot for garnishing.
Yeah.
So my mom grows that a lot because it's very easy to grow like onion and garlic. So
Yeah.
not really the onion or garlic bulb, because for that again it's like I feel that you need a lot of space. Also, it really depends on how much care you are able to provide. But if
Mm-hmm.
it comes to just the grassy part, whether it be like
Mm-hmm.
shallots, whether it be just chives or something, we
Yeah.
really get that like very easily. So that is a thing.
Mm-hmm.
um, Another thing I would say, I won't call it rewarding, but maybe something that I'm also like getting more enthusiastic about is like the way we all are like advancing, and we are seeing a lot of fitness reels, we are seeing a lot of nutrition
Mm-hmm.
reels. We are also getting to learn a lot about our body. We are getting to know how important like the leaves and all of these things are for, like they're really good for us, and how you should be eating, let's say, more microgreens for your gut bacteria. So these days, what I'm doing is I'm growing chia seeds, microgreens. So I just like
Um,
if I'm making like breakfast, let's say I'm making a sandwich or I'm making anything just
mm-hmm.
in the morning. I'm not really like a big breakfast person, but these days I'm trying to just fuel myself with good energy in the morning. So, and it's very easy. It just takes like 2 to 3 days for the microgreens to grow. So I'm really doing that, and it just makes me really happy that I don't have to go to the store. I can just like grow it at my place, have the produce in maximum 5 days, and that makes me really happy.
Exactly. Yeah, really, like it felt really good to hear from you about like what's the most rewarding thing. Because obviously, still in India, lots of people are not growing their own food. Like to be honest, like I don't even trust like fresh vegetables. People say, "Hey, it's fresh, just buy it." I can't buy it because I think we don't know what kind of chemicals they have put on it, like how it's being grown. What things are on that vegetable, whether it's healthy or not. Because still, what veggies sometimes we eat are not at all fresh, and that's really harmful. We think it will good for us. It's good for us that we are eating fresh vegetables, but you don't know whether it's actually grown in the right way, in the right
Exactly.
atmosphere or not. Because in over here, I live in Mumbai. I have seen there is a station named Mankhot. Over there, beside that, I can see there is a gutter, and beside that, people are planting and growing up little bit of spinach and these things. So I was literally like, yeah, oh my god, what if we are eating this kind of things like grown in
Yeah,
a wrong place, near such a harmful place? It will affect our health a lot, like affect it.
exactly. And
So
it would
yeah,
carry
that's
like a lot of germs as well.
mm-hmm, exactly. So we don't know how it's like being grown our vegetables. So I think like we should urge people to like ask and do more of like if you can do it, if you have a little bit of space, just go for kitchen gardening because that's the way like best time for like best thing to do for yourself. You are literally blessing yourself with good and organic food. So next thing I would like to ask is like, what do you find like the most like a beneficial thing about like growing your own food at home?
Okay. First thing is, I just want to like comment on when you say that we are not sure if the food that we are getting it is really the right food or not. A few days back, I was seeing a reel about the food that is grown in America. I was so shocked. So you
Mm-hmm.
know how it happens, like especially in America, like the store bought food, it has a lot of preservatives. It is just made, like genetically modified or conveniently
Yeah.
grown foods. I am not a huge supporter of that. I know that, like if you're living in a condition where you would need to have that kind of food, I understand that sometimes in emergency, you gotta do what you gotta do. But if it
Yeah.
is possible, it is always better to just go for, like homegrown, like organic foods. So this reel,
Exactly.
they what they did is
Mm-hmm.
like they cut an avocado, and the slice they had, they literally twisted it, and it actually twisted
Mm-hmm.
like a spiral, and it is not breaking. Like avocado, if it is ripe, it would either become
Mm-hmm.
mushy. You can just like do like this from your hand, and it would just
Yeah.
come into pieces. They
Mm-hmm.
twisted the whole avocado, it did not break. And the same way they had this banana. I mean, banana, it's such a soft fruit, you can just do like this and
Exactly.
it would snap into two pieces, right?
Yeah.
They were
Yeah.
just, it's I mean, by the time I had watched that half of the reel, I thought that now this banana is going to use as a hammer. I was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
They would
Yeah.
bend the banana completely and it would still not break. Like I was so
Yeah.
shocked, and people were like, something is definitely wrong with America's food,
Wrong.
because what are these
Yeah.
people eating?
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
because of that thing, I think I'm very like, how would say, I'm kind of like blessed to be in the area
Mm-hmm.
where I live. I understand that a lot of food, like one thing is, of course, I'm genuinely grateful to God for being born in India. Like our country has so much to offer. We have everything possible. So I don't know, like, why people, they just crave to go outside. I understand the work reason, I do understand. But apart from that, our country has blessed us with so much of good nature. It has blessed us with
Exactly.
all different, like fruits, vegetables and stuff. We don't really need to go outside or just, eat like other people. Even like the trend that has been happening these days, and you see a lot of reels and people are like, okay, you can have like a peanut butter sandwich for breakfast. Okay, if it is good for you, it is good, I understand. But then I think the reason a lot of diets also fail is because people fail to understand the place where they're living in. If you're born in India
Yeah.
and you have grown up eating Indian food, your diet also needs to be Indian. You cannot make it completely, from outside and then just be like, why it is not working, because your body is already accustomed to having a different type of meal. Now coming to
Exactly.
home gardening, one thing that I like, before I talk about home gardening, one thing that I really want to highlight is, especially in Delhi, like even my mom, when she is going for shopping, a lot of time the
Mm-hmm.
tomatoes that we bring, either you have
Mm-hmm.
like, they call it the desi tomato. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
small tiny tomatoes, probably of this much size, and they can be like more soft. However, normally the tomatoes that come into market, and we do buy it because we don't really have other option, because a lot of time we don't really find the organically grown tomatoes. So we do go for the, conveniently grown ones, which are like larger size. They are kind of tight, and they also last for longer days. So we do understand
Mm-hmm.
that because they're lasting for longer days, they have been like, there has been a use of a lot of chemicals. We do understand that, but then sometimes you don't really have the option. But we do always try to go for food that is organically grown. So lot of, you have mandis, especially if Azadpur, it has like Asia's largest mandi.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
we do like go to mandis to buy food that is directly from the farmers. Like, there are not a lot of middlemen who are also included. We do take care of that
Yeah.
as well. Now,
Yeah.
about homegrown food, I think the best part is you can have it anytime. Like, one thing is, of course, you have to keep in mind that it has to be seasonal. Because what I feel is, one thing, you cannot really grow non-seasonal fruits. It's not possible because
Mm-hmm.
it needs a certain climatic condition to grow. So if like, let's say, I mean, what I know is, like, I think green chilies grow all around the year, but then there are certain fruits let's say strawberry, you cannot grow it in summers, right? Because it needs a different temperature. And if you
Yeah.
are growing it in summers, if somebody is giving you strawberries in summers, you just need to run away, because you need to know that these are genetically modified, or these have like a lot of chemicals, a lot of different fertilizers have been used to just make them stand for a longer time. It's not good, because this is not
Yes.
naturally, this is not what nature blessed us with. So I think that is something I'm very happy about, just growing food at our home. Of course, it's not like we grow each and everything, because at this point we are still on a very like a smaller stage of growing veggies
Mhm.
at our own house, because we do buy veggies from outside, and we do, also like take care that we are getting at least whatever is best possible in our, in our hands. We try to get the best food that is possible, but then we
Yeah.
have like a certain, amount of veggies that we are growing, and it really,
Mhm.
like, makes you happy when you just have like your homegrown food, even if it is
Yeah.
just one potato. Everyone in the family would just, die to have that single piece of that potato, because ye to ghar pe ugaya hai. That factor comes in. So I think that is a
Yeah.
thing. Another thing which is, which makes me especially really happy about planting, like, having like a kitchen garden, is it just keeps you connected to nature. It keeps you kind of grounded, because there is something you have to care about. And at some point it becomes unconditional, because even if, like, even if, let's say, it's not a kitchen garden and it's just a big foliage plant, it may
Mhm.
not really give you anything physically, like it's not giving you a fruit or vegetable, but you just
Yeah.
have it for your peace of mind. You just have it because you find it like beautiful. You just have it because it's aesthetic. So I think those are really, really the best rewarding memories that I have.
That's really nice to hear from you about these things. Like, yeah, like there are also like I don't think so. There are like no benefits. There are always benefits to like doing, like growing your own food. Also, it impacts like your lifestyle and health as well. So I would like to ask, like, how has kitchen gardening improved or impacted your lifestyle and also your health?
I'll be very honest about this one. I can't really talk a lot about the health factor as of now, apart from the fact that yes, it is homegrown, yes, it is free of chemicals. Because again, when we are like, when we are like doing our kitchen gardening, or just say in gardening in general, because like half of the plants we have that give us vegetables, but then other half it's majorly flowers, or some of the plants are just there for, because they are beautiful, or they have like large leaves, so we love it. If I
Mm-hmm.
talk all of my plants in general,
Mm-hmm.
we always try to like avoid chemicals as much as possible. Like, yes, we
Yeah.
do know, because I mean, you are not staying very close to nature. We are not living, especially like, I live in Delhi, you live in Mumbai. We are not living in areas where we have very direct access to nature, where we have, the direct access to just go and dig up some soil and bring it home. We don't have access to
Yeah.
that, which is why, we
Mm-hmm.
have to like especially go to a nursery, get like a bag of the whole soil, then get another bag of manure, get a bag of, neem ki khali. That is something we use. So these are the
Mm-hmm.
things that you also have to go and buy. So you don't have the ultimate surety that this is 100% good, that this is 100% organic, but we do try to keep it as organic as possible. And I cannot really comment on the health factor, because again, I don't know how much healthy it is, but what I do know is it is definitely better compared to what is being sold in the market. Like,
Yeah.
even if,
Exactly.
we have, let's say we have bhindi, we have
Mm-hmm.
brinjals, we have curry leaves. Curry leaves is something that is very regularly used in our kitchen, because my mom, she also makes food from all over India. So sometimes we do have like
Mm-hmm.
South Indian food. A lot
Mm-hmm.
of Odissi dishes, they also use curry leaves. So these are the things that we grow, and you can just like go anytime. So what happens is
Exactly. So, um, uh, yeah,
hello.
yeah.
I'm so
Hi, can
sorry.
you hear me?
There is
It's
technical
okay.
breakdown, and even like my inverter crashed.
It's
Yeah, so
totally okay.
what I was talking about is that I know that it is definitely healthier compared to what is
Yeah.
sold in the market. sold in the market,
Mm-hmm.
because all the
Yeah.
food that we are growing here, we are not using all of that. They give like different colors of fertilizer that is being sold at the nurseries. Like there's orange, yellow, these
Mm-hmm.
kind of fertilizers. We don't really use that unless it is heavily
Mm-hmm.
required. We don't use that one.
Yeah. Thank you so much for telling like about how it like being literally true for your like giving review on whether like food like affects your lifestyle and health or not. So next I would like to ask some from practical tips like you can share with our viewers like what advice would you like to give like someone who's just starting out like for kitchen gardening.
Yeah, sure. So, number one
Mm-hmm.
thing is, of course, do your research. You need to know which plant needs which kind of care, because, not there's no one size that fits all. So, you really need to know, like, if you're growing tomato, it would need a different kind of care. If you're growing chilies, they would need different kind of care. Then there are certain, and especially like if you're starting out, I would say go with plants that are easy maintenance, low maintenance, because then there are some plants, that just really need a lot of care. There are some plants that are super moody. Like if you by any chance just miss out giving water one time, all the leaves will
Yeah.
droop and they would make you feel so guilty that you did not give me water, so that's why I'm dying by. They would make you feel like that. Like when I go on terrace and if I see some of my plants and their leaves have just drooped down, I know they are just being moody. Like I'll give them water and they'll grow back again. So start with low maintenance. If you are starting about kitchen gardening, I would suggest that grow bags, those are way better compared to the plastic or terracotta pots. Terracotta is also good, but again, whatever, like pots that you are investing in, go for high quality. Do not think like be high maintenance once so that you can be low maintenance. The way it
Mm-hmm.
works is like once you invest in some really good quality, you would not have to invest again and again and again, which means it also makes it sustainable for you and you would enjoy the process. Because if it happens that, let's say, you're growing a tomato plant and the pot that you chose, it is not really of good quality, and maybe 2 months down the road the pot is breaking or it is just chipping off, you're seeing that your plant is still in like a teenager phase, it needs to grow, and which means you need to just give it like the right kind of home, and the home is breaking, which means you have to go buy a pot like again, and then you have to repot. And sometimes during repotting, if it is not done correctly, the plant can die. So it is always better that you invest in the right kind of home for them. And you really need to take care of, like the air conditions, the sunlight conditions. Generally 4 to 6 hours of sunlight is heavily important for all the plants, unless they are plants that really live in dark, or they are indoor plants, which means they just need let's say just indirect sunlight. But if it is about kitchen garden, as far as I know, all of the plants that we have grown, they need direct sunlight. So that is a very important factor. So I would like sum it up in this way: start with research, number one, where you just really need to read, you need to like watch a lot of videos on how people are growing the same plant, what results they have got, because you need to learn from other people's mistakes. Second thing, invest in a good home for them, even if it is just one pot. If you're starting with just one plant, you have to make sure that the pot is good. Third thing, you will go to the nursery, and the guy like who is selling there, they will always try to sell the chemical fertilizers. They will always make you feel like these fertilizers are important. Do not fall for that trap. It is a huge trap. Run away or something. Do not fall for it, because again, as much as I know that the soil is not exceptionally good, I know that, but there are organical ways in which you can make it good. Always remember that nature has blessed us with so many things that we don't need medicines. Like if somebody, I don't remember, but I think when if somebody gets dengue and their platelet count goes down, people, doctors, everybody, they ask you to drink gilui ka juice. They don't
Yeah.
say that don't go for natural methods. If, let's say,
Mhm.
you're having a stomach ache or something, you don't always need to like take a pantoprazole or pudin hara. You can still
Yeah.
take some ajwain, you can take some homemade material, you can take some jeera water if you have bloating. So nature has
Mhm.
blessed us with so many natural ingredients, it has blessed us with all the natural remedies. You just need to find them. So because I know the chemicals are so easily available that it is always convenient that okay, I can just pay like 20 rupees a packet and get this chemical and my soil will be okay. It will be okay for only some time. But if you go organic, you're keeping it in the long run, you're keeping it sustainable. So that is something people really need to focus on. And
Mm-hmm.
one more thing, pest that happens very like uh, I mean, it happens very often, especially with plants like hibiscus. You will always find those small white tiny insects that just they just make like a group on each and every leaf node. um, you need to wash them. Number one thing is always, before even trying anything else, just take some spray water, like spray it on it, and just with your own fingers wash it, because that will really help. Apart from that, then you can use neem ki khali, you can use the neem bark or neem oil as well. You can just mix it in water, make like a concoction out of it, spray it. That
Mm-hmm.
works as well. You can to just manage like the pH or something, you can of course like study whether a certain plant needs acidic soil or a plant needs more basic soil, so you have to manage the pH as well. You can add some salt water, you can add seaweed balls that has a lot of like minerals, so it would really basically give a very slow but steady um, like release of minerals into your soil for your plant, instead of just adding calcium or adding this or that tablet. Just go for the natural methods. You can add turmeric powder. You can also use red chili powder if you're having ants or other insects near your trees or plants. Just sprays or like sprinkle some turmeric or red chili powder. That also helps.
That's really nice. Like such a adviseful tip. Like I got to know today. Like literally, it's gonna like very useful for the viewers who wants to start kitchen gardening or who wants to like who are already in this phase or already starting or already started their journey. And yeah, thank you for sharing for such useful tips. And also, lastly, I would like to ask you last question. That is, what like what are your final thoughts on this? What advice or what out there people who have started already or who are just thinking to start? So, what message would you like to give to
I would say, like, keep it simple, keep it slow. Don't go all into it just because you have a sudden peak of motivation. Because what happens is generally, especially with people of my age, like people who are in, let's say, they're 18 to probably 30, these kind of people, they have this sudden, urge to just start something. They get these sudden burst of motivations. Planting is something, it's a journey, it's not like a one time thing. So if you want to continue a journey, a sudden burst of motivation is basically your enemy. Because what happens is, like sometime, let's say, just imagine another girl like me who's not into planting yet. She might be scrolling through YouTube shorts, or she might be scrolling through reels, and because like she has liked or saved one or two different videos of different plants, the platform
Mhm,
also analyzes, like I'm speaking from the point of view of a marketer. The platform analyzes what exactly you consume, and it will show you the
mhm,
same thing again and again, so that you stay longer on the platform. Which is why what happens is, like, let's say if you're seeing food, you will keep on seeing food again and again and again on your social media. If you're seeing, let's say, shoes, you'll keep on seeing shoes on all different types of social media. Like, this world
mhm,
is so interconnected. So what would happen then is that they're basically like tricking your brain. And because like you have watched a lot of reels of plants just in one row, you would feel, oh my god, I would also love to have plants, because you're seeing a lot of people
mhm.
having these aesthetic home. They have a lot of big
Yeah.
foliage plants. Again, big foliage plants need a lot of care. They are very moody plants. So don't
Mhm,
go with sudden burst of emotion. Always like do your research, know them, like prepare your mind in a way that this is a baby that I'm going to have. They are
mhm,
basically kids. And once you bring them in your home, it becomes your responsibility to provide them with each and every nutrient that is possible. Because like
mhm,
as a parent, you would, when you become a parent, you would want to do each and everything for your child. So you have to treat your plants like your babies. Like when I go on terrace, Oh, thank goodness. When I go on terrace, I always, like I just know when my plants are happy or not. I think that is also a journey that, like
Mhm.
just seeing your plants and getting to know whether they are happy or not, it takes time. Like if I go and I just see my leaves are just drooping a little, or they are darker green in color, or they're just, like the color is different from what it should be, I just know that they are not happy. But when I give them water
Mhm.
and the leaves are just, like flowing here and there, I know they're happy.
Yeah.
When it rains, I know they're happy. So you need to know when your babies are happy or not. You need to go and tell them sweet little things. I'm not saying that you have to keep it like, okay, you have a plant, you have to tell it 10 nice things every day. I'm not saying that. But just,
Mhm.
make them feel that you are there. Because one thing that I personally believe in is that plants can absorb energy. They can
Mhm.
absorb the negative energy as well as positive energy in the, like in the environment. I
Exactly.
have seen this happen so many times in my home as
Mhm.
well. All the indoor plants that I've kept, these indoor plants are basically, like some of them would just stay very healthy for a good amount of time, but some of them would
Mhm.
just start drooping or like drying away or something. And if I know that there is some kind of argument happening in my family, or if the environment is not good, if like the human beings in this house are not good, the plants can
Mhm.
absorb that energy. It might, like to people who are not planting yet, it might sound very superficial. It might sound like, ah, she's just talking about things, but it is as same as keeping pets. Like I have seen this happen, that they say if you have pets, they generally take on all the bad things that might happen to you, which is why they go through a lot of bad stuff so that you don't have to go through it. It is the same with plants. So you must treat your plants like babies, just like they are humans. Give them the care, give them the love that they deserve. Tell them that you're very happy to have them. Tell them that I love you, you will grow very nicely, I'm very happy to see you. What I do is, generally, if I have like a plant that I'm taking extra care of, I will literally lift up the pot and just start like giving air kisses to my plant, because I don't want to like touch the leaf completely. Anything can happen, but I do give like small air kisses and tell my plants that you're a cute baby, you will grow very nice. I think that makes them
Mhm.
happy, and it makes me happy as well. It really, at some point, it would not matter if the plant is just happy or not, because you don't know if they're feeling the emotion. But it doesn't
Mhm.
hurt in thinking that they're feeling the emotion, and in turn it makes you happy, it keeps you positive. And that just like that creates this domino effect, that everything happens positively. So I think that is something people need to take care of.
Yeah, really nice to hear about such a thoughtful advice from you. And I agree with almost every part of you with like regarding the plants, for plants are really a baby and it can absorb your negativity. I even believe that. That's the reason. And then there are people are literally, they worship plants like Tulsi and I believe people
Yeah,
are banyan trees. They also like worship these trees. Why? Because they are really helpful to us. They are always like they are blessing
yeah,
to
they
us.
give you a lot
So
of stuff. True,
exactly.
true.
So the thing is, one more thing I would like to ask. The thing is, like for your own kitchen gardening, so what do you use? Like lots of people use like coco pit and fertilizers or pesticides, different things. So I
Oh,
would
we
like to
definitely
ask,
do.
what do you use, like for your kitchen gardening?
Normally, yes, coco peat, because we bring like a lot of big blocks, like 10 kg blocks of coco peat, because it really
Mm-hmm.
makes your soil airy. It makes it lighter. So one thing is,
Yeah.
because we are keeping plants on our terrace, even though I know that when you keep a lot of furniture in your home as well, it's not that the
Mm-hmm.
furniture weighs everything down and the house is falling. It's not like that.
Yeah.
But then
Mm-hmm.
we just always just have this like slight feeling in our head that what if the terrace is becoming too heavy, what if the pots are becoming too heavy. So just to make it lighter, as well as let the roots really flow through it, so we do use a good mixture of coco peat. We have like wormy
Yeah.
compost. My mom makes manure by herself, so what we do is
Okay.
all our vegetable waste, like all the fruit peels, vegetable peels, everything,
Mm-hmm.
we just like turn
Mm-hmm.
it into manure. We don't throw it away. We have like a different area for it. We would either dry it out. If it is completely dried, we just mix it in our soil. If it is not dried, sometimes we just like to use it, like mix it with water, like shake it really really well, and then just spray it
Mm-hmm.
near the roots. So that really
Absolutely.
helps. Apart from that, everything that I talked about, using kitchen stuff for kitchen gardening, like haldi powder, lal mirchi powder, neem ki
Yeah.
khali, those are the stuff. And yeah,
Mm-hmm.
if ever required, because sometimes some plants do need extra care, so we do, like, go to the nurseries, we ask for their guidance, they give like us some
Mm-hmm.
medicines that are
Yeah.
necessary, so we do add those medicines. It's not like we completely refrain ourselves from using medicines, because we know that if
Mm-hmm.
a plant is not doing good, it needs the medicine, it needs the care.
Exactly.
But
Yeah.
apart from that, we try to keep it as natural as possible.
Yeah. So yeah, that's really nice. I have to like you are using all of the like home remedies for your plants. So one thing I would
Yeah.
like to share is I've been working with LCB for more than now 3 years. So throughout this journey, I have noticed people say I'm endorsing, but it's true. What I'm gonna say is we have helped more than 10,000 farmers, and we have literally made a huge impact in organic agriculture in India in agri-tech. What we have done is we make customized like fertilizer for according to your soil. For example, recently our team has found like Punjab's like the soil hai that's little bit not well compared to whole India. So what we did is we took that soil, we tested it, and made a customized version of fertilizer for this. Not only for Punjab, but every state. We will go in person, we will take that soil and do testing. What this soil, what the things are required for them. So according to them, we make organic fertilizers. We also use like whatever waste, industrial waste, like sugarcane waste. We use cow dung and everything. We also like create naturally everything. And also personally, I've used in my house RSB fertilizer and literally like comparatively without no using anything. But when I have used LCD fertilizer, it showed really great results. Was also in Bangalore, there was a professor. She tried a fertilizer. Her tulsi plant was literally wilting, like it wasn't growing well. The leaves were drying, even though she was taking care of it because of the Bangalore's pollution and soil. So
Yeah.
she one time used for continuously 1 to 2 months of fertilizer, and literally, like we can say, miraculously, her plant growed really well. To see like leaves are blooming so nicely. His plant was really, well, like greenery and flower, like new, like we seeds were coming on that, and
Yeah, the plant
many
was
plants.
basically happy.
Yeah, exactly. Plants became happy. Just like we need good food, our plants also need good food, which we can like
Exactly.
feed them as our fertilizer. So we would love to share our fertilizer with you as well. I'll connect personally with you on that thing. But I really
I
love
would
to
love
hear this
that.
thing. We're really happy to share, and I would love it if you share your experience back to us about that thing. And I really had great and
I would
engaging like
absolutely love
conversation.
that.
So today is like thank you so much for sharing your like insight, thoughtfulness, like whatever your inspiring journey was. We are really happy to hear that, and our viewers also. I believe they get like lot of guidance from you. They got have like might of little bit of idea about like kitchen gardening, how it's really important for us in today's era. And thank you so much for joining us on this session with SB Fertilizers
Thank you so
podcast.
much to
Thank you
you
so
as well.
much.
I'm really like happy to,
Thank
that you
you.
gave me this opportunity. Because again, I feel that I'm still at like a very low stage. I won't call myself a beginner, or somewhere in the intermediate stage. Rather, my
Mhm.
mom is the expert who is really, really into this stuff. I'm also like learning from her, and I'm like learning from a
Mhm.
lot of things that I see that people are sharing on the internet. A lot of people talk
Mhm.
about foliage, a lot of people talk about how to grow your plants properly, how much of sunlight is needed. So again,
Yeah.
like before I leave, I just like want to tell this to all the viewers, all the listeners out there, that guys, please, please, please do research. Because again, just think of it in this way. If you have a baby, like a human baby, you would eat up the entire internet. You would buy all the books on parenting. You would buy all the, like consultations from different pediatrists, and they would tell you that this is the food you should give to your baby, or you should
Mhm.
not let your baby do that kind of exercise or this kind of exercise, or maybe they should start exercising at a certain age, all of that stuff. just do the same research about your plants. Even though plants are low maintenance compared to humans, they are living beings, which means they do need the nutrition, they do need the care, the love that we humans or the animals even, they deserve. So please treat your plants just like very much a part of your own home. I would say right now, apart from my family, I have like 200 more than different, family members sitting on my terrace.
That's amazing. That's
Yeah,
really
that's
good
all.
to hear. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much.